Sir, before you have a seat, I'll have you raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat, sir. You can move that microphone close to your mouth so the jury can hear you. And once you're settled, we'll have you give us your full name and spell the last, please.
Ken Thompson, Thompson.
Thank you, Ms. Oddity.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
Mr. Thompson, did you know Todd Stermer?
I did.
And how did you know Todd?
He coached my children, and he was a neighbor.
And how well did you know him?
Oh, I thought fairly well.
And do you know Linda Stermer?
Yes.
And then how do you know her?
The same. Yeah. And just a neighbor and someone in the neighborhood and the mother of children that my children grew up with.
And how close is your house to the Stermer residence?
Oh, as a crow flies, about 1.5 miles by road, maybe 2 miles.
Do you remember January 7th of 2007?
I do.
And could you tell me what you were doing that day?
We spent the day on the farm across the road from Stermer's cutting firewood.
What was the weather like?
It was a beautiful day. It was shirt sleeve weather until later in the afternoon. It got nasty.
And so when you say you were across the street from the Stermers, were you directly across the street from the Stermer residence?
Just on the farm across the street, but at the north end of that farm.
And do you recall when you saw the fire?
It was, I went by Stermer's, went home, and I was probably home 15-20 minutes, and we got a call that Stermer's house was on fire.
So you had just driven by the Stermer residence 15
Yes.
or 20 minutes prior?
Yes.
And then how did you learn that there was a fire?
Kim's cousin Annette called, and she heard it on the scanner.
And so do you remember distinctly seeing the Stermer home as you were passing by it?
I can't say that. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
You didn't see any smoke?
No.
So what happened then once you got that phone call?
I told Kim to jump in the truck, and we headed right over there.
And what was your thought? What were you going to do?
Anything we could.
When you got there, was there anyone else there?
I saw Chief Leach was there in his pickup truck, and I saw Mike Matheny in his pickup truck.
How long would you say it took you from the time you got that call on the scanner to get to the Stermer residence?
5 minutes maybe.
So you had just been by 15-20 minutes prior, walked in the door, got the call, and then it took you another 5 minutes to get back over there.
Correct.
Did you go up the driveway, or where did you park your car?
We parked out toward the road so we wouldn't hinder any, because I knew fire vehicles would be coming. So we parked out by the road, and then I headed up the driveway to the house.
What did you do then once you got down the driveway?
I saw Linda, and I asked Linda, where are the children? Is there anybody else in the house?
And what did she say?
At first she was kind of incoherent, and my first thought was for the children in the house, so I was headed for the front door when she stopped me and said, no, there's nobody in there. The children are somewhere.
So you were getting ready to go into the house?
I was.
And did she come up to you and stop you, or did she grab you, or how did that?
Well, no, she just, I went by her, headed for the house, and she stopped me, just called to me.
And then what did she say at that point?
She said that there was nobody there, the children were somewhere, and I don't remember where she said they were.
Did you see any smoke or fire at that time?
I did, just a very little bit coming out of the chimney chase, the very top of the house.
At the top of the house?
Yes,
And that was the only place you saw smoke at that time?
yes.
There were no firefighters there at that time?
Just Chief Leach was there in his personal pickup truck.
So you didn't see any smoke coming out the windows at that time?
Not at that time.
And you were standing in front of the house?
Yes.
Having this conversation with Linda?
Yes.
Did you see Todd at all?
Not that I recognized this Todd.
So tell me what you saw.
Well, I saw Chief Leach on the ground working on something, and I didn't recognize as a person.
Did you go over there?
I went too close. I wish I never would have.
What'd you see?
It was unrecognizable as a person.
Couldn't recognize his face? Couldn't recognize his face?
No.
How close did you get to Todd?
Oh, I would say from me to you.
Can we get a reference for the record? I'm going to say 12 feet.
I think yesterday we said 16, but I'll go with 12 today.
Sharpen my eyes a little bit.
And I understand this is very difficult. Where was Linda at that time?
I think she was still in approximately the same spot in the driveway in front of the house.
In front of the house?
Yeah.
What was she doing?
Oh, I kind of lost track of her at that point.
What did you do then? You said you lost track. What were you
Then
focusing
the
on?
firefighters started to arrive, and I know all those guys, and I just went to them and see if I could assist them in any way, ladders, hoses, whatever.
And were you able to assist them?
Well, not with ladders or hoses. Yeah.
So how long were you on scene?
5 hours.
And you said when you got there, you just saw a little bit of smoke coming out of the top of the house?
Yes.
What did you observe then in the minutes that you were there?
Smoke started coming out windows, and eventually the whole house went involved.
How long did that take, do you think?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but probably 20 minutes, half hour.
So it was minutes.
Yes.
After the fire, did you have conversations with Linda, or were you present when she was talking about the fire?
Yes.
And where did those conversations happen?
Our kitchen table.
And do you recall what Linda said happened that day when she was at your kitchen table?
No.
Did she tell you where she was when the fire started?
Well, she told me that, I talked to her the evening of the fire.
Oh,
And she
so-
said she was in the basement doing laundry.
So this was actually the day of the fire?
Yes.
Not at your kitchen table?
Right.
So then, was this a few hours after you arrived, or was it close to the time you arrived?
Close to the time.
Okay. So what did she tell you when you were talking on scene about the fire?
She said that she was downstairs doing laundry, and Todd was sleeping in his chair, and Todd yelled, "Linda, get out, the house is on fire." And she went out the basement door.
She went out the basement door?
She said she looked up the stairwell and could see she couldn't get up there.
Did she say why she couldn't get up there?
I think there was flames or whatever, the impression I got.
And then she went out the basement door?
Yes.
Did she say anything else about that day?
Yeah, we talked for, several minutes, several times. And I don't remember every bit of the conversation.
Anything that you remember about the fire and conversations with her, or just that?
Pretty much that.
And you stayed on scene for several hours.
Yes.
Did you stay until Linda left?
What's that?
Did you stay until Linda left?
I'm not sure. I know Linda was with the girls and I was with the firefighters, and I kind of lost track of her.
And at some point, did you see the van on the property?
I did.
And tell me why you saw the van.
Well, the deputy had asked us to guard that van and make sure that nobody touched it, or especially nobody sprayed it with water.
And why was that?
I guess there was evidence on it. You could see blood on it.
So you saw the blood?
I sure did.
And where did you see the blood?
Oh, down the front of the van, and then on the bumper going underneath the van.
Have you talked to Linda? You said there were some conversations at your kitchen table after the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any conversations with her about the fire at your kitchen table?
I don't recall.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
I think I can segue some of the information I previously received from your wife. You and your wife have known the Stermer family for about 3 years prior to the date of the fire. Is that correct?
Yeah, ever since they moved to Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go over and participate with Mr. Stermer in reference to any of the construction of the house?
Not the construction, no.
Okay. Did you ever go over to the house while the house was under construction?
Yeah, probably a time or two.
Time or two?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you describe what you knew as far as the layout of the house?
No, I didn't know the layout of the house.
Didn't?
I never went inside.
Never went inside? Okay. What would have been your purpose for being over to just...
Todd had a business. He sold military surplus, and I purchased a lot of things from him.
Military surplus?
Yes.
Okay.
Clothing. Yeah.
Okay. So he had an office that he worked out of the house with. Is that right?
I'm not sure. No, he always had stuff in his truck, or he would just bring stuff out.
From the van? Or?
I don't remember the van.
Okay. Okay. Would it be fair to say that your knowledge of a fire was from a telephone call of your wife's cousin about the reason why y'all came to the house?
Yes, that's why we went over there.
Okay.
Yes. The call was Stermer's house is on fire, and I thought, I just went by there. Stermer's house isn't on fire, but so we hopped in the truck and headed right over there.
Okay. So now that brings me to a question that you stated that you had just been by the Stermer house?
Yes.
This was on a Sunday, is that correct?
It was on a weekend. I know we were cutting firewood across the street. It might have been Sunday.
Okay. And about what time a day was it when you had been by the house?
Oh gosh, we'd cut firewood for quite a long time. I'm not sure. Maybe sometime in the early afternoon.
Okay. And when you say you was cutting firewood, are you cutting firewood across from the Stermer property?
Yes. Yes. On the neighboring farm, right across the road.
You and who else?
Me and my two cousins.
Okay. And what time did y'all start cutting firewood?
Well, probably 9 a.m.
Okay. Did you know the vehicles that was part of the family that was parked at the Stermer property?
No.
I mean, had you seen, well, let me just clarify that. Did you know how many vehicles that the Stermers had?
No.
From the times that you had been over there, you only saw one vehicle?
You know, over the years, differing vehicles at differing times.
Okay. Well, let's say for, you know, just during this period of time when you were cutting firewood, say for instance the last 2 weeks prior to that, had you seen the vehicles, any vehicles at that property?
No, not that I noticed, no.
Let me ask you this, had you ever seen the van?
I didn't remember that van until that day.
Okay. Could you say what type of vehicle you had a memory of that you had seen there on the property?
No.
You stated that Mr. Stermer sold you some products or
Yes.
from his truck?
Yes, it seemed like he had like a cube truck with a roll door on it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, so you all complete your task of cutting wood about 12 o'clock that afternoon?
No. It was later in the afternoon. It was I would guess in the area of 4, maybe 5.
4 or 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And so you had a direct view of the Stermer property from where you all were cutting wood, right?
No, we were at the north end of that farm, and there's you know trees and fence rows, and no, I couldn't see their house from where we were.
Okay, but when you finish cutting your wood, you're leaving, you have to come on the road.
Right.
And pass
We
the
went by
Stermer property.
Stermer's house, yes, on
Okay.
the way home, yes.
Okay.
And I didn't notice any smoke or anything out of the ordinary.
And didn't notice any vehicles there, is that right? Of course, you wasn't looking for anything
wasn't.
suspect,
I
right?
I was not.
Okay.
No, we were headed home.
But you definitely didn't see any smoke or any fire?
I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay, okay. Did you notice anybody outside at all?
I didn't.
Okay, all right. What was the weather conditions that day that you recall?
It was earlier in the day. It was just beautiful. It was a perfect day to cut firewood. I mean, we were in flannel shirts, and it was the weather was good. But later in the afternoon, around dark, the weather got pretty bad. It was spitting snow and rain, and it got pretty rough.
Okay. And the road that is in front of the house, the Stermer property, is it paved or
It is.
gravel?
Yes, County Road 215. It's paved.
It's paved.
Yes.
Blacktop or paved?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, on the Stermer property, when you turn off the road for what would be, or driveway, was it paved?
No. It's gravel.
Gravel?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever been to the backside of the Stermer property?
Well, before they
Before
built
the-
the house, I knew every step of that property.
I beg your pardon, you say before you...
Before they built the house, yeah, I was on that property quite a bit.
Okay, so you knew the property before they even purchased
Yes.
the property?
Yes.
Okay. What was do you know how many acres it was?
Well, it started out, it was the original farm, it was a big property, and I'm not sure how many acres that they purchased.
Okay.
Yes.
But you was very familiar with the geographical layout of
Yes.
the property, right? And the house itself, could you describe the sloping of the house? Was it flat or was it an
No,
incline?
on the sides of the house, it sloped down, with a walkout basement.
Okay.
I would say that it was about a one-story drop from, the sides of the house down to the basement entrance.
Okay. And so when you arrived on the property as a result of the telephone call from your wife's cousin, you stated that you immediately saw smoke from the chimney?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see any flames from the chimney?
No.
But you saw smoke.
Yes.
Was it a large ball of smoke?
No, I thought that initially that it was a chimney fire because it was the smoke was coming right out the chimney chase, and that's the only smoke that I saw. So I thought maybe they just had a chimney fire.
Were you familiar with chimney fires?
Yes.
Have you ever served on the fire department before?
No.
Okay. But you've seen a chimney fire before?
Many.
Okay. Were there... Could you give an estimate time frame as to, if you can recall, when you and your wife arrived? What would you say a guesstimation of your time when you arrived
When we arrived.
on the property?
I'm not sure.
You left cutting the wood
Yes.
about 3 or 4?
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say it was after 5 o'clock then, right? When you would arrived at the Stermer's property?
That I couldn't say. I didn't look at a watch.
Okay. And did you pull into the property off of the road?
Yes, we pulled just off the road, and then, like I say, we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to hinder any fire vehicles, so we kind of got out of the way. We made sure our vehicles were out of the way.
Okay. And by the time that you're parking your vehicle, you begin to see smoke coming from another part of the house?
Well, it didn't take very long, and then there was smoke coming out windows.
Okay. And you saw that after you
Yes.
got out of your vehicle, is that right?
Right.
Okay. And these windows, they face the frontage of the road, is that right?
And on the sides.
And on the sides? Okay.
But I noticed the smoke coming out the windows on the side.
Okay. But you didn't see any fire trucks there at that time? Right?
No, just Chief Leach was there with the chief's truck.
Okay. So what did you do when you saw the smoke coming out of the windows, you see the smoke coming out of the chimney, you and your wife get out of your vehicle? What do you do then?
Well, I saw Linda in the driveway, and I quickly went to Linda. I was concerned for the children, and You know, I said, Linda, where's the children? And at first she was kind of incoherent, and I thought that the children would be inside. So I was kind of headed for the door, and she said, no, there's nobody in there. The children, I forget where she said they were.
Okay, when you saw Miss Stermer, was she with somebody else? Or
No,
was she
she was
just
by
standing
herself.
there by herself?
She was by herself.
And where were, you said Mr. Leach was there. Where was he at?
He was just to the north of the driveway, and he was on the ground.
Okay.
And at first I thought maybe he was working on some equipment, you know, a fire extinguisher or whatever. I didn't recognize that it was a body.
Okay. And did you see anyone else there?
No.
Just Mr. Leach and Miss
Right.
Stermer?
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so after you were comfortable with the fact that there was no one else in the house, the children wasn't in the house, nobody else was in the house, what did you do then?
Oh, I just waited for the fire department to arrive. And it wasn't very long, and they arrived.
Okay. And do you know which fire department it was that arrived?
Lawrence.
Lawrence? Okay. And did you ever go over to the location where Mr. Stermer was lying on the ground?
No, I avoided it.
Okay. Okay. From the position that you were at, did you detect any unusual odor?
No.
Okay. Now, where was the van parked at?
It was behind the house. It was down the hill and around behind the house. You couldn't see it from the front of the house.
Okay. Okay. And what was the ground like?
It was slippery. It was kind of muddy.
Kinda, or was it muddy?
Well, it was muddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And at that time, was it still raining?
It had started to rain after we were there a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you recall the clothing that Miss Stermer had on?
I do.
Okay. Could you describe what you saw?
She had a t-shirt, gym shorts, and white socks. Just socks, no shoes.
And shorts. Mm-hmm. And a t-shirt.
Yes.
What would you estimate, just based upon your feelings of the weather then, what would you estimate the temperature to be at that time when you arrived?
At that time when I saw Linda, I don't know. I'm not sure. I couldn't say. But the temperature was dropping fast.
Dropping fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
It started out as a rain, and then it started this snow-rain mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you were there when some of the law enforcement officers arrived, or were you?
I really didn't notice them. You know, I was with the firefighters. I heard the sirens and everything coming. I did see one deputy's vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were familiar with some of the personnel of the fire department, is that right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Had you ever worked in the fire department?
I never did. No.
Okay.
They asked me to join, but I thought they'd be better served with spending their training money on a younger person. But several times I've, just been on scene just to assist in any way, carry a ladder, carry a hose, do whatever.
It's a volunteer.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
My wife was on the township board, and she was, it's a small town, and everybody kind of helps each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why the motto is "We grow together," right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, you stated in direct that someone asked you to watch the van.
Yes.
Do you recall who?
The deputy asked the assistant chief, Doug Harrington, and Doug Harrington asked me to help in that.
So you saying the deputy?
Had asked Doug Harrington to make sure that no water got sprayed on there and nobody, touched the van. And he asked me to help him in that.
Okay. So in putting out the fire, they wanted to make sure that the van didn't get hit with the water. Is that what they were talking about?
Right.
But you
If
wasn't
it-
directed to move the van, though, right?
I don't think you could have, because it was that muddy. I don't know if you could have moved the van.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think you would have had to have it towed.
Okay. And so approximately how long did you remain on the scene?
Like I say, we didn't get home. It was pretty late. It was pretty late. I would say we were there 5 hours.
Okay. And you recall someone bringing Miss Stermer some clothes, right?
I know the girls, Linda wanted my wife's Aunt Gail to bring her some clothes and shoes, and she just wanted her there maybe for comfort or whatever.
Okay. Okay. And so, since 2007, you haven't had to speak of this case to anyone in law enforcement?
No, no one in law enforcement.
And on that date, did any of the law enforcements that arrived, did any of them take an interview statement from you?
No.
Okay. I have just a second. Oh, Mr. Thompson, let me. You recall the fact that there was two dogs at the house?
I saw one dog.
You saw one dog.
Yes.
Were you part of rescuing the dogs?
Yes. While we were standing down there by the van, the basement window had been broken out, and the dog kept jumping through the window into the fire. I think the dog was just traumatized, and it kept jumping back and forth in and out of the window, and we were trying to catch it.
Did you have to go inside to get him?
No.
Okay.
No.
But you was able to ultimately rescue him?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and then we kept the dog for Linda and the children.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And did you see anything on the van in reference to any type of blood on the van?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you see that at?
As I remember, it was down the front of the van, and then on the bumper, and then kind of, it seems like, to the best of my recollection, it was led underneath the van.
Underneath the van?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get down and look up underneath the van?
Well, I didn't get down on my knees or anything,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Was it just on the front or
That's all I saw was
just on the front?
on the front, yes.
Okay. But you don't know what caused
No.
blood to be on the van?
I had no idea.
And you don't know what caused the fire?
No idea.
Okay. And my last question, when you said you first approached Linda Stermer, you stated that she was she was traumatized, in your opinion?
Yes.
Okay. And she couldn't speak, or did she speak?
Well,
to you?
she could speak, but she wasn't making a lot of sense. She was sobbing, and when I first asked her where the children were, I think her response was, "I don't know," and that's what led me to, I was gonna go through the front door and see if I could do anything for the children. But then as I headed for the door, she told me, no, there's nobody in there. The children are somewhere.
While you were on the location, where was the great amount of flames and smoke that you identified while you were present there?
Well, I was toward the back of the house with Doug Harrington, and so that's where I saw the most flames.
From the back of the house?
Right.
Okay.
But I don't know at that time what was going on with the front of the house. I was, in the back.
Okay.
You good? Are you done? Okay. Ms. Seidemann?
Thank you, Your Honor. So I just want to clarify, when you first got there, you saw the smoke on the top. There were no holes in the roof at that time?
No.
Fire hadn't broken through
Just
yet?
smoke. Yeah.
Okay. And was Mr. Matheny, did I remember you saying he was there?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was him, but I recognized the truck, and it was off to the side. He was kind of off to the side.
Okay, so he was there when you and Steve Leach were there as well?
Yes.
Okay. And did you smell the fire?
Did I smell the fire? I can't say I recall smelling anything.
Don't remember.
No.
And you arrived, were there law enforcement at the end of the driveway when you arrived?
I don't recall.
And you didn't put your name on a list or anything while you were on scene?
No, nobody asked me anything that night.
And you left then before you actually talked to the law enforcement?
Right. Yeah, when the fire department left, we left.
So you were actually kind of with the firemen and helping them out?
Yes,
So the dog was jumping in the basement window?
it was.
Was-
Probably 4 or 5 times.
Did the dog get burnt?
No, the dog would jump through the window, and then the flames would drive it back and jump out the window, and then we'd try to catch it, and it would run around a circle and jump back in the window.
So there weren't any flames coming out the window?
No, but you could see flames inside.
And if I told you that the dispatch call came in around 3:30, would that surprise you?
No, it was, that seems appropriate.
Seems about right time?
Yes.
In terms of the events of that day?
Yes,
Fits in with your cutting of the firewood?
right.
So I'm guessing, were you looking at a watch or a clock?
Not at all.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank
Every
you.
day is work from daylight to dark.
I have no further questions.
Okay.
Jury, any questions of this witness? Anyone? I've got one hand going up. Did you assist at all with covering Todd with any clothing?
No,
Okay, thank you.
no.
Any other questions? Any questions in light of the question asked and answered?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kelly, any questions of him? Any more? Nope. Thank you, sir. Can he be excused from subpoena?
I would ask that you please be excused.
Any objection to that, to excusing him from his subpoena?
Yes.
Good? Okay, thank you. You're done and you're excused from your obligation under subpoena, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Counsel, can you approach, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Break, and remember your admonitions. Do not watch any media reports or talk to each other. Same old thing all over again, but it's very, very important. So you can leave your binders in your chairs. And this will be about a 15-minute break.